Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan, on Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. Today we are answering questions related to buying, selling, or investing in property with Amit Goenka. Amit is the MD and CEO of Nisus Finance, and he joins me in the Mumbai studio. Amit, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
The regulators kicked in. Do you expect home buyers to now come out and actually start buying?
Well, I think it's a fantastic thing to have happened finally after a 5-year long wait. And it's, I think, a rejoices time generally for both investors and buyers from an insurance perspective. But I see a lot of pain before the gain. There will be cleanup before there will be cleanliness, which basically means that there could be challenges for people who bought into projects which didn't have proper approvals, didn't have proper documentary filings, are not able to satisfy the regulator about the status of their project, which might then be halted to prove their creditworthiness.
But for somebody entering the market now, it should be a good thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So
we've got Charanjit Singh who's called in, Amit. Charanjit, go ahead, tell us what's your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Charanjit.
I'm looking for a ready possession flat in the Vadala area.
Okay.
Charanjit, what's your budget?
My budget 2.5 crore.
2.5 crore.
3-bedroom I'm looking for, 3-bedroom in this area.
3-bedroom, okay.
Ready possession.
Well, of course, Charanjit, you're aware of the fact that Vadala, because of the Eastern Freeway, has become a much sought after micro market. Much like Chembur benefited from both the metro, the freeway, as well as extended connectivity. Vadala is definitely on the horizon to further gain from that upside. Typically, prices have inched up from an average of 12 to 14,000 rupees to almost, north of 20,000 rupees. But clearly, therefore, which means that 2.5 crores, you will be able to effectively get about 1,200 square feet of an apartment out there. I do see a slight bit of flattishness now coming out into that market. There have been a number of projects in Sivri, Vadala, as well as Greater Vadala area, which where inventory has come to a halt as far as sales sentiments are concerned. I don't see a lot of upside in the next few quarters. So Vadala, yes, it's a great micro market. You must continue to look at Vadala, especially when the metro becomes active. Right now, the monorail, rather, is only doing a very small belt. Once the monorail reaches Jacob Circle and extends beyond it, that's when the importance of Vadala will go up.
Now, Amit, Charanjit wanted a 3 BHK, if I'm not mistaken. You said a 1,200 square feet apartment. Now, 1,200 square feet doesn't necessarily translate into 3 BHK.
No, it doesn't. It will be at best a 2 BHK. Right.
So is a 3 BHK a little out of his budget?
Well, again, there are projects which are nearly ready possession, which are in older buildings, not necessarily bad buildings or bad developments, but slightly older, which are trading at about 17,000 rupees as well, where I think you would be able to squeeze in a 3 BHK within that budget. But if you're looking to go into Dosti at this time, if you're going to get into the newer projects which have come up, I think that might be a bit of a challenge. But clearly, you will find slightly older projects. So, for example, even within Bhakti Park, if you're going with the older development, they're definitely within 60,000
So, essentially, he needs to look at the resale market.
Look at the resale market,
Charanjit Singh, those are the prices that we were showing you right now. 21,118 rupees per square foot. Like Amit told you earlier, a little north of 20,000. Prices have gone up 6% in the last 2 years. So clearly the market is still gaining from whatever infrastructure boom they saw, while there is another round of infrastructure development getting ready. We have Jitendra Singh now, who's written in through email. Now Jitendra has bought 2 properties in Bengaluru. First is a 3 BHK flat in GM Infinite E-City, Phase 2 in Neotown. He bought this for 3,000 rupees per square foot. Possession is due at the end of this year. The second property is a 1 BHK flat in Bhartiya City, Niku Homes, Phase 2 for 4,750 rupees a square foot. Possession again here is due in 2020. Now he wants to know if he should stay invested in the property situated in Neotown, since the location didn't really shape up as expected. And he also wants to know if he should stay invested in Bhartiya City. What kind of return? Will he get good returns in the next 4 years? What should he do?
Yeah, I think first of all, Jitendra ji, very good markets both. Electronic City, which is in the south, and Thani Sandra, which is in the north. So both fantastic and very, very strong micro markets. So good decisions otherwise. As far as these particular projects are concerned, again, reasonably good projects. As far as your investment in Electronic City is concerned, clearly the price of Electronic City has taken a huge upside in the last year or two, but now seems to have flattened out a bit, because now phase 3, phase 4 and other phases of Electronic City are under development, because of which on both sides of the road huge amount of developments are coming up, and prices will continue to be under pressure at the current price band of about 4,000 rupees. So if you can and could exit, I don't think there's a problem in exiting it, because there are newer developments which are coming up where you can actually now start making an upside. So I think there's a significant amount of peak out, at least for the next 12 to 18 months.
So if he exits Electronic City at this moment and it is trading at around, it is averaging around 3,927 rupees per square foot. If he exits right now, where should he reinvest this money?
It's a good question, and I would recommend going towards slightly further south on the Mysore corridor, because that's really where the next upside is likely
So
to
you would
come.
say Mysore Road?
Yeah, the Mysore Road, absolutely. You can go towards the Mysore Road. Other plot to look at is, since you're already in the north, look at the northeast corridor, which is the industrial belt of Bangalore, and a lot of industrial activities, manufacturing activities, automotive activities are happening there. So there the prices are sub 3,000 rupees.
I just want to get your attention over here to the chart that we're showing right now.
Yes.
Electronic City was averaging around 3,927 rupees per square foot, but Mysore Road is costlier. It's 4,916 rupees per square foot.
You see the gain as well.
Yeah, it's actually already gone up by 27%, which is precisely what I was asking. Is there any upside left to this market, or is it too saturated?
Well, Bangalore, yes, you're right. I would not deny the fact that Bangalore markets are saturated. You'll have to look for opportunities which are still sub 4,000 rupees. There are opportunities, while the average price, yes, at Mysore Road is definitely 4,500, 5,000 rupees. But again, depending on what part of Mysore Road you're going to, you will be able to find something which is even sub 4,000 rupees. So look at, because from a growth corridor perspective, I think Mysore Road gives a huge amount of promise, which is why generally the averages have gone up. So if you can actually carefully evaluate that belt and see where you can get sub 4,000 rupees, even if it's under development, you'll definitely have that upside.
How much growth are you seeing here, say over a 5-year horizon?
Well, I would think there would be for a 5 year, it's hard to say, but the next 2 to 3 years, I would expect the prices to typically stabilize at about 5,900, 6,000 rupees. So if you're getting it at sub 4,000 levels, which should not be very hard, then you have effectively a 50% upside
growth, right,
over the next 3 years, which means on a levered basis, assuming you're going to take a home loan, you can actually make some very, very decent returns. So that's really in terms of the south side of Bangalore's investment story. If you look at your Thani Sandra project, again, Electronic City, Bhartiya's new town, a fantastically well conceptualized project. Thani Sandra again has shown some significant upsides where the prices have started crossing 5,500 rupees as well. But there are many projects still which are in that vicinity, which are nearing completion, which can be made available at 4,500 rupees as well, with a large upside, because new projects are being launched at 5,500. So if you look at slightly older projects which are now nearing completing, and don't go for a pre-launch launch type of a project, there is again an upside of close to 30-40% in that belt. So if you have to stay put, both markets are great. Go more towards Mysore, stay towards Thani Sandra, but maybe if you can flip it.
Especially where Thani Sandra is concerned, Jitendra, what Amit is recommending is that if you do intend to sell in this market, reinvest in the same market. Thani Sandra is too good a location to get out of at the moment. Prices, like you can see, are averaging 5,689 rupees per square foot. And Amit forecasts another 30 to 40% jump in prices if you stay invested for long enough. As far as your Electronic City project is concerned, if you do want to sell, this is a good time to sell. Exit. Get a good deal, exit out of that, and you could probably look at Mysore Road, which is slightly on the higher side, priced around 4,916 rupees per square foot. However, like Amit said, this is a growth corridor. You can expect at least another 50% appreciation in prices over the next 2 to 3 years. With that, we have Manoj Singhania now, who's called in. Manoj, go ahead. Tell us what's your question.
I would like to purchase a flat in Guwahati, Assam, of 3 bedroom. My budget is around 50 to 70 lakhs. Can you recommend me some project?
50 to 70 lakh, and that's not a market that we hear a lot of. Guwahati, Assam. It is one of the smart cities though, right, Amit?
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of attention is coming after the announcement of smart cities, that now Guwahati and Assam in general becoming part of the government's development horizon. But because it's still a tier 3 city, prices are still within the sub 5,000 region, even if you go for very premium developments. There are developments which are reasonably late stage, so there's no reason why one should take a large amount of development risk in a market like Guwahati. There are projects like King Square in 6 Mile that you can look at in Guwahati by Eco Pioneer Projects, which should be available to you close to at about 4,000 rupees a square foot. So in your budget, you will easily be able to get a 1,500 square foot apartment, which will be well within your 60 lakh budget. You could also look at Kahilpara in Guwahati. There's a project called Agrim Residency, which is again sub 4,000 rupees, which will again meet your objective. So look for nearly completed projects in the heart of the city. They're all in the sub 4,000 vicinity. The markets tend to be steady. The growth tends to be more in the 8 to 10% at best if you're in these key micro markets on an annualized basis. So you could look at any of these projects which are sub 4,000 rupees and look at an 8 to 10 upside, percent upside, over the next 2-3 years.
So Manoj, stay close to the city center and look for projects ideally that are nearing possession is what Amit is saying. Amit, with the smart city and all, I know that smart city is more of an urban planning concept, but eventually the real estate market is going to gain from that, because if the city develops, like we've seen with infrastructure, when infrastructure comes in, when connectivity goes up, improves, that the prices in that location pick up. What kind of growth can markets like Guwahati see basis the smart city tag, if plans come into play as they have actually planned it?
So smart city obviously allows for a rejuvenation of the urban design as well as the basic ingredients or drivers for the city, which include sanitation, connectivity, as well as healthcare, the basic ecosystem required for a certain lifestyle, a certain amount of wellness in habitation. When a city like Guwahati increases its habitability by that extent, clearly it draws in people who've either moved out because they could not get that quality or that kind of infrastructure, that kind of urbanization, which now Guwahati will be willing to offer within the eastern belt, within Assam, which obviously is a very large market, along the eastern belt itself. So a lot of people would have either moved to Calcutta or any other part of the eastern belt would start looking to get back into Guwahati if it is able to create a rejuvenated urban design. So that obviously is subject to the design getting approved, implementation of that getting announced. But just the announcement that the implementation is now starting itself will, I think, raise the prospects of Guwahati from being a 5, 6, 7% growth market on an annualized basis organic consumption, to 15, 20% growth market, basis this rejuvenated
So smart
design.
city tag can bring double-digit growth to a market if things go as planned. Moving on, we have PS Bali, who's written in on our website www.mbnow.in. He owns a flat in SRS Pearl in Sector 87, Greater Faridabad. He bought this flat for investment. He wants to know if he should hold on to this property or sell it. He also wants us to suggest a commercial property in Greater Faridabad within a budget of 30 lakh rupees. He wants to know where he should buy the property, whether he should buy a residential or a commercial segment property, and which developer in Greater Faridabad is better out of BPTP, SRS, RPS or OMAX. Now that's an interesting question there. Amit, we have a lot of people who look to, get out of one residential property, go into another one. Now clearly he's not worrying about capital gains over here, because he's also considering commercial property where I don't think he'd be getting a capital gains deduction.
That's right.
But should he go for commercial right now?
Well, Greater Faridabad obviously enjoys reasonable connectivity both from Gurgaon as well as from Delhi. It's about 30 kilometers from Delhi, 40 kilometers from Gurgaon, and therefore to that extent given its industrialization, given its growth in the last few years with the road connectivity, it is now obviously seen an upside where you actually people are even trading inventory in the 4,000 rupees bracket, where Greater Faridabad was not expected to trade anything more than 2,500 rupees a square foot. So clearly, the entire industrialization infrastructure growth has led to the propagation of Faridabad as a habitable and a growth corridor location. As far as residential is concerned, clearly there is a slowdown in the entire northern capital region in terms of sentiments for buying residential properties, and notwithstanding any location, clearly there will be pressure to further grow the prices from where it already is. So good part is, of course, SRS Pearl. SRS is a good developer, Pearl is a good development, and it is completed. So the risk of completion is clearly not in your investment portfolio, and that is a great thing to have as far as exposure to NCR is concerned. You can book your gains and exit as well. I don't see any greater upside beyond the 4,000 rupees mark as far as Greater Faridabad is concerned for quite some time, because now there are comparable properties at 5,000 and 6,000 available in Gurgaon.
So you are suggesting he exit Faridabad altogether?
No, you can stay into. So if you look at it from an upside generally, commercial upside is obviously very, very vibrant.
No, but Faridabad is a market for commercial properties, and I am guessing here, I'm presuming that some developer over there has come out with a very sweet deal, because we are getting a lot of these questions on the show. So can you tell us, Faridabad's prospects as a commercial market?
So Faridabad is not really an ITS market yet, and therefore we don't expect large plates, large formats or large leases to actually come up in Greater Faridabad or Faridabad yet. It might take time from Sona Road to migrate to Faridabad, because Sona Road is obviously actually heated up quite a bit, which was not trading at 25-30 rupees a square foot, has actually gone up to close to 60 rupees a square foot. So if Sona Road is 60 rupees a square foot, then at some point in time ITs may even consider going further up and even look at Faridabad as an option. But that is some while away. What really works for Faridabad as an industrial town, as a trading town, is the smaller shops, which obviously keep on trading at a premium, especially now with more greater thoroughfare, greater truck movements, greater amount of warehousing and industrialization. And so really in his budget, what he's looking at really is a 500-600 square foot sort of a commercial investment, which I think can actually now give greater returns than staying put in residential for now, because leasability is low in residential, and again the upside looks a little subdued. So therefore commercial, shop, a small investment of 500-600 square feet. And there are projects like that, like Omax City Center in Sector 79 Faridabad, which do have these smaller format commercial offices that you can actually make use of.
In fact, Amit, he also asked you about the developers. Do you want to recommend any developer there?
Well, that's a dangerous question, and I think I'd rather stay away. I've already suggested one project, and I think that's good enough to say. I think SRS did a great job in delivering the residential, the commercial center.
Okay, now he's going to talk about all the developers.
No, I'm not, but these two I've recommended, so it's fine.
Okay, SRS Omax is what Amit recommends, and he's also telling you to that commercial is a good bet. Go for a shop, go for a small shop, a 500, 600, 700 square feet shop, and reinvest the gains that you're getting from the residential property. We have Suhas Sharma who's called in. Suhas, what's your question?
Yeah, my question was, I have taken a property in Pune, Wakad in 2008. It's a 3.5 BHK measuring 16.50 square meters, 3.5 bedroom, and it's a fully furnished, very big society, about 32 acres of complex with about 40 row houses and 320 flats.
Okay.
It's got a clubhouse, gym, swimming pool, 3 badminton court, separate yoga park, and
Right.
a very well-maintained society. And currently, I've just put it on rent, and it was just for an investment purpose. I would just like to know, because I'm just planning to retire by 2018, and by then my loan also would be completed by 2018 for that flat. So what is the prospect? Could rental be a good option, or selling off and take another property somewhere in Bombay would be another option?
Suhas is clearly planning ahead over there. Amit, what would you suggest? Should he sell Wakad and buy in Bombay?
Well, I see that, Suhas, you're very, very happy and passionate about your investment and the fact that the society has come up really well, which is fantastic. The fact that you also have a tenant is great. Generally, the prices as well as offtake in Pune are definitely under tremendous pressure. Mumbai is seeing a huge amount of improvement in sentiments compared to Pune. there is clearly an upside which is expected to come up soon, and there is a faster ability to sell and liquidate investments in Mumbai compared to Pune. But since you still also mentioned that you will be retiring, I really don't know whether you want to actually take further bets as far as under construction properties are concerned, because clearly ready inventory is more expensive in Bombay. So I would say that unless you see a very compelling proposition, which therefore I mean a distressed seller, or you can actually quickly sell, get into a distressed, ready to move in property which can further be rented, and therefore you're seeing a capital upside come in because you're able to take somebody out for a distressed value, it makes sense to flip. Wakad is a reasonably good location. I don't anticipate any extraordinarily sort of appreciation in Wakad going forward. It's already peaked out at about 6 to 6,500 rupees a square foot from what it was at 4,500. So therefore the appreciation from here on looks reasonably subdued. There is a huge supply, but you are in a good situation. So stay put for now, but keep your eyes open for an extraordinary opportunity, not just moving from A to B for the sake of it. If you find a great deal, a distressed deal, and you think and it's ready to move in and can have a similar situation where you can start renting it out on day one, nearly on day one, then go for it. Otherwise, just stay put.
Also, Amit, I want to ask you something here. From the point of view of rentals, now Suhas is also looking at moving from a location. At 6,136 rupees per square foot, if he does sell today and tries to buy in Mumbai, he's going to have to end up buying something in the peripheral areas, peripheral locations of Mumbai. So on a cost, if you do like a cost benefit comparison, as far as rentals are concerned, and he already has a tenant, it's a tenanted property.
That's right.
So as far as rentals are concerned, don't you think he'd be getting a far better return in Wakad as compared to peripheral location, what a peripheral location Mumbai would offer?
Undoubtedly, which is exactly my suggestion, is stay put, because you will have to go beyond Kalyan to achieve that 6,000 rupee mark price. You'll have to go to nearly Boisar on the western peripheral region, or even beyond Navi Panvel to actually get these prices. Clearly the pressure there in terms of supply and yields is very high because they're not Mumbai, they're effectively periphery of Mumbai. But as I said, you will find distress opportunities. Liquidity is a concern. Sales aren't that very fast. So if you do find a distress opportunity, and there are a number of options that keep on popping up. So if you're an active person who's retiring and you keep on watching the screen regularly, you will find an opportunity ready to move in, which is at a distress compared to the average market price. Right. And then consider that which can be rented. Otherwise, just stay happy, stay put. I think you're doing very well with that project.
So Suhas, you've made a good investment. Stay invested. Keep looking out for good opportunities. Keep your eyes and ears open. Keep constantly checking the market. If you get like a really, really sweet deal, then it makes sense for you to move from Wakad and move to Mumbai. Otherwise, you'll probably end up, buying something on the periphery and not getting the kind of rentals that you're getting in Wakad today.
Absolutely.
We have Abhishek Sharma now who joins us on the phone. Abhishek, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am. I have bought a flat. I have actually booked one pre-launch project in Tata Infinium, which is in Mulund East. That's a 2.5 BHK, which I have invested in. Mm-hmm. I want to know, till now, first question is, till now it has not been started. So, because I don't reside in Bombay, so how is this pre-launch system goes on in Bombay? How reliable is it? And can I get a how after 5 years, if the project is completed, when the project is completed, how much appreciation can I expect, ma'am? That's what.
Right. Abhishek, when did you buy into this project?
I have gone in this project in January 2015.
January 2015. So yeah, so it's more than a year since he invested, and you're saying no work has started.
Yes, but since it's a very reliable builder, it's been operated by Tata Realty, so we all know about how Tata works. So that's why I have quite good faith on them.
So he set his faith on the brand, and it's been a year since he's booked over there. Should he stay invested? Should he get out of the project? What should he do now?
In a very small answer, take your money and leave. No denying the fact that Mulund is a good destination generally. It's got now great connectivity now with the proposed link which will connect it with Goregaon on the other side, which now with the Sanjay Gandhi National Park issue getting resolved, hopefully that link or that bypass connecting the eastern and the western corridor between Mulund and Goregaon
Hang
will
on,
become.
Amit, apart from the infrastructure advantages that Mulund has, you said take your money now and leave. The
Yeah.
project, he says that work hasn't really started on the project yet. If
Yeah.
he takes his money now, will he be at a loss?
Well, I hope not, because he's really placed his faith on the Tata brand at large. And if there were conditions, that if the work, generally there are in pre-launches, that if the work doesn't start by a particular date, then investors or pre-launch buyers have the option of taking a certain fixed return, their money back and exiting. I think that's a good time now to exercise that option if the project work hasn't started. The Mulund project is a joint
Right.
venture project between the Tatas and other local,
And other local developers. Right. So essentially, if you want to get out of the project, the time is now. You need to go speak to developer, and if you have that option, exercise that option, walk out of the project, take your money, invest it someplace else, and preferably look for something that is nearing possession.
Kavita, I would just caution all our viewers that avoid pre-launches.
Avoid pre-launches, that's the word, and that's a key takeaway for you on this edition of Property Hotline. Look for projects that are nearing possession. You'll be far more safer that way.
That's
With
right.
that, it's a wrap on this edition of Property Hotline. Thank you very much, Amit Goenka, for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Hope to see more of you in future.
Happy to.
And if you have any feedback, suggestions, any questions that you want to ask, and we answer all kinds of questions on real estate, not just buying, selling and investing. If you have legal issues, legal queries you want answered, queries on home finance, on taxes, send them in to us, get in touch with us. You know how to do that. You can write in on email, on Facebook, on our website www.mbnow.in. You can tweet to me or simply call us live. Thank you very much for watching Property Hotline. Keep watching Magic Bricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.